Everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. And CRUZ MALLIA has officially been sanctioned for that hit on Grant Williams a week ago, which has caused a lot of discussion, a lot of stir, a lot of debate throughout the week. And very interesting to see the various different sides, which are all coming out, and sort of the different opinions and sort of side and angles people are taking with regards to the incident. So before we sort of break it all down, we're going to look at the press release when it was sanctioned, the press release was the press release when he was charged, the press release when he was sanctioned. We'll look at a World Rugby ruling as well to sort of see if there's a bit of a discrepancy and kind of wonder if Stanzar continues to be quite lenient about these things. But before we do that, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so a week ago, we saw exactly what happened. Grant Williams, about 11 seconds into the match, got hammered by CRUZ MALLIA, who went into the air, charged down, and then collided with his hip to Grant Williams' head. Grant Williams knocked out clean, had to leave the field on a stretcher with oxygen, and has got a concussion and is out for 2 weeks. So on Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday or Monday, I think it was, CRUZ MALLIA was officially cited. The nature of offence was here. Law 9.11. Players must not do anything that is reckless or dangerous to others. It says that CRUZ MALLIA of Argentina has been cited for alleged foul play. He is alleged to have contravened Law 9.11, which we just mentioned. Upon further review of the match footage, the Society Commissioner deemed, in his opinion, the incident had met the red card threshold for foul play. He actually didn't get anything, by the way, not even a penalty during the case itself. The case is to be considered in the first instance by the Foul Play Review Committee, which will take place on Tuesday, and today we finally got the sanction. It says that all stands-on disciplinary matters of the first instance referred to the Foul Play Review Committee to provide the option of expediting the judicial process. For a matter to be dispensed at this hearing, the person appearing must plead guilty and accept the penalty offered by the Foul Play Review Committee. Right, so then today we released the sanction. Now, before we look at the sanction, if you go into the World Rugby website, for example, and you look at sanctions and actions, it says, note, any act of foul play which results in contact with the head and or neck shall result in at least a mid-range sanction. And so, the mid-range, I think, is about 3 to 4 weeks at least. I think it's about 4 weeks. I think 4 weeks is where the mid-range starts. Where a player receives a mid-range or top-end sanction, a disciplinary committee, judicial officer, appeal committee / appeal officer may, at his discretion, agree that 1 week of the sanction may be replaced by a coaching intervention if that complies with the World Rugby Coaching Intervention Program. And Rule 9.11, players must not do anything that is reckless or dangerous to others, is part of that whole thing. So in theory, it is a mid-range sanction by virtue of the fact that he's going to be cited for that rule. It involves a head and neck injury or contact. Therefore, it is a mid-range sanction. It has to be a mid-range sanction according to the World Rugby rules. Now let's look at the hearing release. Okay, and it says the nature of the offence is players not do anything reckless or dangerous to others. Law 9.11. He's been suspended for 2 weeks. It says here that the Sanzar Judicial Committee has found CRUZ MALLIA of Argentina guilty of contravening Law 9.11. Players must not do anything that is reckless or dangerous to others, after he was cited following the championship match last weekend. He's been suspended from all forms of the game for 2 weeks up to and including the 18th of August. So he'll miss this weekend, basically. That's it. The Sanzar Judicial Committee of Nigel Hampton, David Croft, and Officer Tourneur assessed the case. In this finding, Judicial Committee Chairman Nigel Hampton ruled the following. Having conducted a detailed review of all the available evidence, including all camera angles and additional evidence, including from the player, the Argentinian coach, and the match referee, it's interesting that you don't get, for example, South Africa don't get, any sort of input into it. It's only. I'm surprised the Argentinian coach has anything to say about it. Why does Michael Cheika have any relevance on this? Surely it's just the player and the referee. That's the only people involved. What has Michael Cheika's view got to do with anything? As well as the submissions from his legal representative, Aaron Floyd, they upheld the citing under Law 9.11. With respect to the sanction, the Judicial Committee considered the act of foul play was reckless, with a high degree of danger and a considerable impact on the victim player. The committee considered all relevant factors of World Rugby's head contact person sanctioning table, but given the evidence from both the referee and the coach as to how successful the charge down kicks are viewed by match officials and as to how coaching of players is conducted as a consequence, so maybe that's the reasoning behind it, the committee decided that a mid-range sanction would be wholly disappropriate to the player's fault and that the foul play merited a low-range entry point of 2 weeks. This is why we have so much issues with officials. And that's not an attack on Andrew Brace, who, again, is being slammed for not stopping the game. I think he should take a lot of criticism for it. With regards to actual sanctioning, there's too much ambiguity. How can you... I've just read you the rule. I've just read you how any act of foul play, this is verbatim, any act of foul play which results in contact with the head and or neck shall result in at least a mid-range sanction. That's the rule. That is the rule, people. It is a rule. Or it's a law. Oh, sorry, it's a law. Rugby doesn't have rules, they have laws. If you ever read Paul Williams' book, you'll know. But, so that's the law. To then sit there and say, well, given the fact that it's, how they view successful charge downs and kicks and stuff by the coaches, it's therefore disproportionate to the player's fault, and it should not be mid-range. It just doesn't make sense, unfortunately. And this is not me saying I want Jean-Cruz MALLIA to be banned for weeks and weeks and weeks. You know, I'm not massively upset by the ban. I don't massively care, to be honest. My issue is more, I think, the fact that obviously the game wasn't called to a stop. I think that was, for example, for me, quite a big red flag. He's going to get a ban. He'll serve a time. I'm not out here looking to get players banned and having players not play the World Cup. You know, I think Jean-Cruz MALLIA made a mistake. I think the intent was there. I think he was going for the charge down, and I think he kind of pulled out of it, well, sort of semi-pulled out of it, kind of braced to impact, which you can't do. So he's got to cop a suspension. He's got to cop sort of punishment because he needs to learn. He needs to do something wrong. I don't think there was malicious intent. I don't think he was jumping in that to injure Grant Williams. You know, I don't think he's that kind of player. I don't think it was that kind of incident. So I'm not there to sit there saying that the sanction is too short. It's nonsense. How can he be, you know, only out for 2 weeks? Grant Williams is going to miss the World Cup. Yada, yada, yada. That for me is not where I'm going to go with this. My issue comes, you've got a law, you've not applied it. That creates ambiguity. That creates debate. That creates grey areas. And this is why referees are being hammered. And you've got to feel for the referees. Not necessarily, I'm not going to defend Andrew Brace here, but you've got to feel for referees. Now they're going to go into the World Cup. This is what the law says. But 2 weeks ago, there was a precedent set where, well, actually the law doesn't have to be applied like that. It can be mitigated like this. There's too much grey area, and this is why the referees are struggling. This is why World Rugby is under pressure. This is why fans and coaches and players are fuming, because they're just saying, what is going on? It's a mess. It's very muddy, and we need to sort it out. You know, and it's not about this specific incident and the players being banned. It's about making sure that we've got our laws in place and that we apply them correctly, consistently, which is not happening at the moment. So I'm very frustrated at that point. Like I said, when the ban itself 2 weeks, I'm not mad at that ban, to be honest. I'm more mad about the fact that it shouldn't be 2 weeks because of what the law says. So if there was space within the law and it was well documented that they could get down to 2 weeks, I'm happy for that. But the fact of the matter is, we've got a law which says it's a mid-range sanction. They then read the same law. He's been cited for the law. He's been punished for the law. He's been punished for that rule. But they can find some other reason to bring it down to a low-range entry point, which is not part of the law. So or maybe there is, and we just don't see it. So are there other rules? Is there other sort of stuff available that we don't know about that they then use in these hearings? And if there is, why isn't it available? Why aren't you telling us what the process is? Make us understand. And if it's if it's by the book and we can see it and we can see the pattern, and we can see it and we can understand it, we're not going to complain about it. But at the moment, we're looking at it going, well, that's what you're telling us, and then you're doing this. And when the left and the right hand don't speak, that's where all the issues come. So it's a frustrating verdict from a interpretation point of view, because it just creates too much ambiguity, too many gray areas, and this is where the issue is. Let me know what you think. Am I just harping on about this? Again, I don't think we should be focusing on the actual sanction. I don't think we should, on Jean-Cruz MALLIA, I don't think we should be focusing on that. For me, what we need to be focusing on in this judgment is you've taken a law and you've applied it differently. Why? And that's worrying for me. That is worrying. But let me know what you think. Maybe I'm harping on about something that's irrelevant. What is your opinion? Put it down in the comments. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. And I'll chat to you guys next time.